on Mountain News this morning. Congressman Andy Barr hosted his quarterly virtual town hall after missing an in-person town hall last weekend. And Floyd County officials want you to be aware of ways to recover from the flood through community promoted events.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning and a happy Tuesday to you. My name is Amelia Lee here with you on this Tuesday. It's Tuesday, March 25th, and the time is 5:28, which means it's time to check on in with meteorologist Megan Dusmall this morning. And Megan, we had a bit of a rainy start these past couple of days, but do we have kind of a break from that? A little more sunshine in the forecast, or are we still going to have some rain?
Really just depends on where you're located in the region. Some places will see rain chances for most of the day, and other places won't see a single drop. That's what you have to look forward to in that forecast. It's a little bit of a confusing one, so let's get into it. Temperatures this morning are mainly sitting in the 40s, seeing 39 degrees as you're traveling towards Jonesville and Clintwood. And as we head into the afternoon, here's where you're starting to see the disparity, right? You'll see upper 60s as you're traveling towards our Tennessee counties and towards the north, towards Moorhead. That's where you're seeing 50 degrees and the low to mid 50s just north of the Hal Rogers. Now we're seeing some rain chances move into our region. The more likely places to be seeing rain today is as you're traveling more towards the north and the eastern counties, but as you're traveling more towards the southwest, you have a higher chance of staying dry today. Here's a look at that next 12 hours. And again, for the most part, really just seeing a slight chance of showers all day long. Temperatures will be hitting a high around that 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock mark. Amelia.
Thank you, Megan. Well, last night, Congressman Andy Barr answered questions from people in the 6th Congressional District with his quarterly telephone town hall. It comes after missing an in-person town hall in Lexington over the weekend. Barr took the 90 minutes to call as an opportunity to have updated constituents on the state of the nation's economy. He also used the platform to remind listeners of the democratic process after complaints about federal funding cuts.
And for anyone who thinks that there are threats to democracy, just consider that 77 million Americans elected this president and this agenda. I would argue that that is democracy.
Barr also spoke on the Kentucky economy to give hope to listeners about the security of the bourbon industry. He says President Trump is fighting for it to be the first choice everywhere. Employees at the Red River Gorge, Mammoth Cave, and Camp Nelson, who were fired following federal cuts, are returning to work. Those terminations came from President Trump's attempt to reduce federal spending by firing unnecessary federal workers. Hundreds of national park workers all over the states were terminated as a result. The Lexington Herald Leader reports the employees were reinstated through a court order. The judges say the firings were illegal and all employees will receive back pay. Yesterday was their first day back to work. The Trump administration is asking the Supreme Court to halt the ruling rehiring the workers. Human remains found in 2023 have now been identified. Officials say it was William Cross from Scott County, Tennessee. Scott County Sheriff's deputies say Cross went missing in 2018 after he went for a walk in the woods in McCreary County and was not seen or heard from again. Then in 2023, remains were found by a teenager walking in the woods. Officials say his family has been notified and is asking for privacy. The cause of his death has not yet been released. A Boyle County woman was sentenced to 7 years in prison in Pulaski County. Kaylee Dismuke pleaded guilty to second-degree manslaughter and agreed to waive her sentencing hearing. Dismuke ran into Dino Collins in Pulaski County back in October. Collins died at the hospital from injuries in the crash. Our sister station in Louisville was able to speak with the FBI's new evidence response team about their investigations in Kentucky. According to the FBI, in the past month, the evidence response team was dispatched to a federal investigation at a warehouse where human remains were found and assisted at a Middletown homicide scene where an explosive device was found. Officials say the team's biggest asset is its ability to collect evidence in a way that makes it easy to stand up to scrutiny in court.
They're able to actually recreate it oftentimes in the courtroom for the jury, and that can make or break a case.
The FBI says the team's intense training is what sets it apart. They train under all kinds of conditions, interruptions, weather disturbances, and various types of scenes. Officials in Floyd County are hoping to lift up the people most impacted by the February flood, promoting different events happening in the county while neighbors work to rebuild. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has the latest.
Floyd County saw significant damage from the February flood, with many homes hit by the heavy waters.
We're going to be pushing 550, maybe 600. We're still trying to get those final numbers that were affected by the flood this time.
Judge Executive Robbie Williams says the county is planning a few different outreaches to help its people get back on their feet, hosting Kentucky Emergency Management Tuesday to discuss the home buyout program.
Now we're familiar with how the program works, the timing, so we're going to be realistic in what we tell folks. But you know, we really are just a flow-through agency. We don't make the decisions. We don't do the work.
Williams says a question and answer event will be conducted at the Mountain Arts Center to help homeowners hit by the flood who are interested in FEMA-funded property buyouts.
It's a voluntary program. You can back out at any time.
He says the county is also working with Apple Red Legal Aid, housing a FEMA appeals clinic in the fiscal courtroom Thursday, helping anyone who received a denial letter strengthen their application for an appeal.
90% of this is very simple. It's just going through the process, finding out exactly what they need, and getting it to FEMA to get that approval.
Williams says these opportunities are all about connecting those in need with the resources to advocate for themselves.
There's a lot of questions that they can answer that we just don't have the answers to. And I think it's important for them to understand the specifics and the timeline involved.
Reminding people they do not have to wade through recovery alone. In Floyd County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The buyout Q&A will take place this evening at the Mountain Arts Center from 6 until 8. Apple Red will set up in the old courthouse Thursday from 1 until 4. Williams says anyone who could benefit should consider attending. Well, there's a new disaster recovery center in the mountains. The newest one is at 500 Happy Top Road in Beattyville in Lee County. The hours of operation will be from 9 until 7. It will run from today through Friday, and we have more information about this on our website, WYMT.com. You have 1 week left to enroll into the state's LIHEAP crisis program. Kentucky Community Action Agencies are accepting applications until March 31st. That's next Monday. The program helps those facing emergencies at home, such as imminent loss of heat or eviction due to unpaid utility bills. Applications need to have things ready, such as proof of social security number and the most current electric bill. For more information, you can call 800-456-3452. Governor Andy Beshear vetoed House Bill 398. It would prevent Kentucky's worker safety rules from being more strict than the federal government. There would also be new limits on who can request safety inspections and less incentive for whistleblowers to report dangerous violations. State lawmakers will be back in Frankfort Thursday and Friday to wrap up the legislative session. That's when they can vote to override the governor's veto. Governor Beshear signed several bills into law yesterday. Those include House Bill 38 and Senate Bills 120 and 169. House Bill 38 would increase penalties for people who repeatedly violate restraining orders. Senate Bill 120 would require school coaches to report signs of child abuse and neglect. And Senate Bill 169 would allow the subpoena of online and social media records. With the spring season here, we could see more storms, and with that in mind, this could also result in trees falling. But trimming trees near your home could prevent the possibility of one falling on your home. Experts say trees are beginning to exit their dormant stage, so right now is a key moment to trim before foliage returns.
Keeping the trees trimmed up, away from the structures and stuff is really the best thing possible to do. So if something does happen, it's not going to fall directly on a structure.
It's recommended to consult with a professional or arborist when looking to prune damaged branches or on trees. Some species like oak trees are susceptible to infection in their growing season. Still to come, diamonds might last forever, but it also takes forever to make them. One team across the pond goes to space to grow diamonds faster.
And temperatures are cooling down today, but warmer weather is on the way.